You frickin' idiot. You and all that annoying talk of yours can go rot in hell. And no matter how much you try and call me, I am never going to answer you. I'm off to have some fun now, so see you in another year. Emma, the only reason I've been calling you so much is because you just took my money and ran off with it. I don't need you to answer any of my calls, but you need to come back and give me my money, please. That is not your money, right? I had that money put aside so that I can pay off some bills I have. Well, you left that money here in my house, so it becomes my money to do whatever I want with. I have no idea why you keep saying such stupid things to me right now. This is all just common sense. Common sense? What are you talking about? You haven't even been living in this house with us anymore. So you coming back into town out of nowhere like that and taking my money off the counter should be considered stealing. That is my money you have right now, so bring it back to me. Come here and hand it back to me right now, please. Don't make me call your father about this, or even worse, the police. What are you talking about? It's because of my dad that you're allowed to live in the house with him and have this money, right? And when it comes to the money that's left lying around in the house, it becomes mine. If you don't like that, then get lost. Even if I wanted to leave this place, right now isn't the best time for me. There are things going on right now here that not even you are aware of. I don't care about your reasons for not leaving because it's not my problem. Anyway, I consider myself very lucky to have come back to my house today and found some money sitting around for me. This is some extra play money for me, so I'm gonna head out shopping now. Would you stop that right now? Your play money? I told you that is not your money. Do you have any idea what you're about to do right now by running off and spending that money? Come home right now and give that all back to me. You are acting way too far out of line right now. Shut the hell up, you old hag. You're not my freaking mother. All you are is some old broad that was allowed into this house by my dad. This isn't even your money either, but my dad's, right? Which then means I have the right to spend it on whatever I'd like, right? You have no idea what's going on right now, Emma. But you don't seem to be listening to anything, so I'll go have a word with your father now. I want that money you took from me back as soon as possible. This is my money now, so you're never getting it back, you know. If you don't like me having this money, then next time you shouldn't be leaving money on the counter like that. I really thought you had the common sense to understand that before, but it really does seem that no matter what I try and tell you, you're just not going to listen. You really are just like your father. I've had enough of this, Shane. If you're not going to leave this house and take your thieving daughter along with you, then I'm going to leave instead.
Huh? What's all this about?
You know what's going on here. Your daughter just took my money that was on the counter and ran off with it. That money was something I was going to take with me to the post office today in order to pay some last-minute bills. Both you and her act the same way and seem to do things like that all the time. Can't you see that right now you both are only making things harder for yourselves? I am not going to deal with any of this any longer. Now, your three choices here are to tell her to come back to the house and give me my money. You can tell her that you're leaving this house and neither of you will be allowed to come back. Or you can go ahead and do nothing, just like you've always been doing, and I'll leave this house and you both instead.
What? That's just what kids do, Olivia. Why are you getting so upset by that?
What kids do? She is 22 years old now, Shane. She is far too old now to be acting like a 5-year-old. Do you both not see how stealing someone else's money like that is a very bad habit to have? She really took a lot after you, Shane.
You are really being an annoying witch right now. Well, whatever. If you're really going to start saying things like that about her and I, then go ahead and leave.
Really?
I'm tired of how you behave around me. And the fact that you're now talking trash about my own daughter like that is horrible. It's over between you and I for real now. Just get out of the house. And before you go, I want $30,000 from you.
Hold on now. What you just said there makes no sense to me at all. Can you explain to me why I should be giving you $30,000 before I leave this house and family for good? Aren't you aware yet that I'm going to be the one getting the settlement in all of this?
This has nothing to do with the settlement or us breaking up. This has to do with Emma getting married soon.
Is that happening? I never knew about any of this.
And there needs to be some money handed over for her wedding. So as her dad, I'd like to help her out there in making sure she has a wonderful wedding. You can understand how I'm feeling about all this right now, right? Anyway, the only issue here is I don't have any money. So as one final good deed to my daughter and I, would you help me pay for her wedding?
I did that same thing for you back when you needed help paying for her schooling. But here's the thing. Neither of you ever thanked me for all of that money I handed over for her. So why should I have to give you anything else now when I know I will be getting nothing in return for it?
I sure as hell did. Thank you.
Saying thanks is easy to do, Shane. But based off how you've been acting around me, I am far more aware that you aren't thankful. I'm not giving you any more money. But if you'd like to borrow it from me, we can make something work.
What? Are you sure?
But I'll need something in return from you, though. I expect you to pay all that borrowed money back to me at some point, so I'll be preparing some paperwork for you and I to sign. I'm going to get my money back from you this time one way or another, so that I don't have to regret as many things as I've already had to. Hey! Why have you not come here yet? Excuse me? Come to where? What? Frickin' idiot. I get that you're in your 40s now, but you can't already be experiencing symptoms of dementia. Today is the day of my wedding, gosh dang it. What? Is that right? Wait, are you kidding? Cut that BS right now, you old hag. Would you really just cancel last minute on your one and only daughter's wedding like that? If you do that, then you're no longer my mom. Wow, this is the kind of talk I thought I'd never have to relive again. I wonder what ended up happening with you to make you speak to me like that. What are you going on about? Just shut the hell up and come here. Not having my mom here at this wedding would be very screwed up, you idiot. What do you mean by daughter? How much longer do you plan on screwing around with me like that? Cut the bullcrap right now before I get Dad involved. Canceling last minute on your daughter's wedding would land you right in hell. But it seems like that's what you want to have happen, so screw you, because I'm cutting ties to you. I've never had a daughter, though. What? The person who should be asking for the other to stop screwing around here is myself. Emma, you're my ex-husband's kid that he brought along with himself when we got married. You have never been my daughter, right? Actually, I had never once thought of you as my daughter before. You're kidding, right? Huh? But weren't you raising me all that time like I was your daughter? The first couple of years I was doing my best in order to make a decent family out of you both. But having to continue to live in that house with a brat like you all that time really brought me a whole lot of stress. And even after you turned 18 and were no longer needing to stick around me in the house, you always tried to cause fights and pick on me. Honestly, I have no idea what to call all of that besides a circus between you and I. But things were like that because you and I are family, right? Well, if that's the way you'd like to think of all that, then go ahead and keep thinking that. But to me, that was not at all what a family should be like. You're saying a lot of crap to me right now, but in terms of the law, you're my mom, right? So how about you come to my dang wedding now? Come here and introduce yourself to my man's parents. At the very least, you can do something like that for me, right? Wait, what kind of law are you talking about? Your father and I split up, and you are nothing more than a stranger to me again. What? And you happen to be an awful little brat, and your dad was a terrible husband and father. I was so happy to get myself away from the both of you. Even now, I like to think that I should never have to talk to either one of you again. So tell me what the hell you're going on about now? What the heck? Are you trying to say that you both got a divorce or something? When did that happen? I was never told anything about all of that. This happened a little over 6 months ago, Emma. We've been separated for quite some time now. I really have no idea why your father wouldn't tell you anything about that, especially when it's something that has to do with you both. But that was never going to be something I had to tell you about, right? However, it wasn't like it was a secret that our relationship was going sour. What? So you both really got divorced then? That means you're no longer my mom. Yep, but let's be honest here. I was never like your mother to begin with, right? And legally, I'm nothing more than a complete stranger to the both of you now. That's why we should never have to talk to one another like this ever again after today. Having you contact me out of nowhere like this was really a surprise to me. I never had a daughter, and I was never invited to some wedding. I sent your invitation to the house, though. Of course I'd invite someone like you to my wedding. The house? Oh, I don't live in that place anymore. What? You don't even live there anymore? I told you that the divorce took place half a year ago, and at that time I left the house. I no longer had anything to do with either one of you anymore, so I was out of there. That also means I don't see any of the mail that's sent to that house for me anymore. So is Dad living on his own now? Who knows? It's kind of a mystery of whether or not even he is living in that house anymore. He was never going to be able to pay for that house's loan since I was the one paying it off the whole time I lived there. Huh? Dad wasn't even paying off the loan on the house? How would he have been able to? He's never had a job this whole time I've been around him. What? He hasn't had a job? That's right. Unfortunately, your dad has been unemployed for a long time now. He's just like you are in a sense. All you both ever did was leech off the money I had and never thanked me for any of it. That whole marriage to him was really like an exploitation of me, really. I never knew anything about that, though. Well, there you have it, Emma. I never saw that invitation you sent to me, but it's not like I'd be going to your wedding anyway. Also, I happen to have a different last name now, so I'm not sure they would have let me into the wedding anyway. Why won't you come still? Aren't you being way too cold to me by not accepting my invitation to you? I was your only daughter, your only child ever. So can't you just come to my wedding and see me become happy? And like I've been saying, you were never like a daughter to me. Just the bratty girl my ex brought along with him. And when I say bratty, I mean you were totally off the walls when it came to how much of a nuisance you were to me. All you are now is some random woman, and I don't care to be around you. So you're just going to cancel on the wedding then? Is that not heartless to you? So you're not even listening to me. Do you even understand what the meaning of canceling last minute means? I divorced your dad half a year ago and never was able to get that invitation you sent me. I wouldn't have even planned on going to that wedding of yours anyway had I gotten the invitation. I didn't know it was even taking place today because of all that. There was also never an RSVP from me, right? So what exactly am I canceling on last minute here? I was never coming to that wedding, so there you go. So you're telling me you never felt as though you were my mom? Like I've been saying for a while now, no. I was never your mother and will continue not to be. So what are you trying to get at here? Perhaps you just wanted me around for the gifts that I might give you? I would never give you any gifts, Emma. I never said anything about wanting you here for any gifts. Let me tell you something else before I go. I would like for you to pay me that $30,000 I let you borrow for that wedding back, please. Huh? What $30,000 did you ever give me for today? I want that money back, please. Nothing else. Now get me that money and shut up about never hearing anything about this, because I know dang well you have an idea of what I'm asking for here. I don't ever remember getting even a penny from you for today, so I'm not handing you any money back. Would you like for me to get the signed papers out? What? Your dad borrowed money from me using your name. Even your signature and everything is on these papers saying you agreed with the transaction. So stop complaining and give me my money back. Huh? I have no idea what you're talking about. You just told me that my dad did all that without my consent, right? I had no idea something like that happened between you two. I never borrowed money from you. Even if you were never told anything about this, you borrowed that money from me. You really don't remember anything from that time? You signed something for your dad a long while ago. I guess there was one time I was told to sign something and I went ahead and signed that. But I didn't know that was for my dad to borrow money from you. I'm serious about that. You didn't know about that? Well, that's too bad for you. But you went ahead and signed something without ever reading it first, and now you'll have to be responsible for it. That doesn't have anything to do with me, though, as long as I get my money back. The deadline is coming up here now. What are you talking about? I can't hand you $30,000. I never even got that kind of money in the first place. After your dad got this money from me using your name on the paperwork, he went and ran off. I have no clue what he did with that money, and it's not any of my business to know. But from what he told me before the deal took place, he was going to use all that money for your wedding. Understand? Now you're going to have to pay back all of what you borrowed from me. Mom, wait, please. Huh? Don't call me your mom, you little freak. I have never been your mom, and you even agreed with me on that by never once acting as though I was your mom. You can try all you want now to reel me in as your mom, but it's not going to work. You and I are strangers after all. Calling a stranger your mom really gives me the creeps, and my skin is starting to crawl. You can't say things like that about this. After this, you're going to have to start taking care of your idiot father, all right? My dad is not some idiot like you say he is. You're just a complete witch. Weren't you the one that was part of our family for 10 years? In reality, we were only family for 8 years. Those last 2 years were just hell for me. I had to work my butt off for a jobless man that couldn't do anything for the family. He wouldn't even help with the chores or with helping you. All while having you in the house while you made fun of me and caused all sorts of trouble. Stealing my money at times as well. Those last 2 years really were the worst years of my life. Nothing is ever going to top how horribly I felt around you both then. Well, when you put it all like that, I'm sure those last few years were tough for you. I wish I would have divorced your dad a whole lot sooner than I did, to be frank. But at least things are over with now, and I don't regret a single thing about it, really. Come on, this is so hurtful to me. You really think it's okay to say things as hurtful as that about my dad and I? What now? Are you really going to start crying because you think I'm the jerk? I was the one that just lent you $30,000 a while back. And for years and years, I was the one paying for the both of you to live in that house as well as eat and have a shower. I just want my money back from this last deal we made. Is that such a bad thing? I mean, you were the one that signed those papers, so you should be more than aware of what's happening. Are you kidding me? At a time like this, though? I was going to give you a bit more time to pay me back, but then you decided to contact me today, even though I was never coming to that wedding of yours in the first place. It's your fault for thinking that I'd still come and saying that I was somehow canceling on you last minute. I really did think you'd be coming today. I mean, normally one would be coming to my wedding. Yet, just as I was wanting you to come and enjoy this wedding, you're going to ask for money back? That is screwed up on so many levels. I feel like I've been stabbed in the back by you. Shut the hell up, you brat. Why are you starting to whine like you're some kind of a victim? The only victim here is myself. I'm the one that gave you both loads of money and have still not gotten anything back in return. Well, I was at least able to get some money in the divorce from your father a little while back, so that's pretty good for me. You got that divorce in order to get some money back? Well, then what's happened to the money you keep asking me to give you back? I would like to think that your father took that money and has it right now. Sucks for you then, right? Your father ended up being a lot more scheming than you thought. Wait, Mom! I really cannot pay you back that amount of money right now. So please, help me out here. I told you, you are not my frickin' daughter. I have no reason to help you out after the hell you've put me through all these years. Go find a frickin' job and make that money back for me. Goodbye now, you brain-dead brat. What the hell do you want now? I have nothing else to tell you, and unless this is about you giving me that money, I don't want to hear it. My dad just came to the wedding drunk off his butt, and after causing a scene, he got this whole wedding canceled. Ah, well, makes sense considering your father's an alcoholic. What? Are you kidding me? I'm sure your man was shocked to see your father you were so happy to have come in smelling like the bottom of a vodka bottle, right? This is not the time to be laughing. Not only is the wedding going to be canceled, but I think my marriage in general is going to be over with. What should I do right now? Do something to help me, Mom. Mom? Nice one. I really have no idea why you decided to text me again about all that. I have nothing to do with any of you besides needing that money I lent you back. You know, you could have avoided all this had you just been a bit nicer to me. But not even after paying for you to go to college did you thank me. I guess this is what you get for being such a selfish, childish little brat. I did everything I felt I could back in the day, but that never made you into anything more than a total jerk. Now you go join your dad and down a few more bottles of vodka so that you can forget what all happened today. I didn't know about you paying for me to go to school. What? If I don't get married today, what is going to happen to me? Let me come live with you. I don't want to go back with my dad. No thanks. I don't like strangers coming inside my home. Goodbye now. You have gotten on one too many of my nerves now, so I'll be blocking you. And about that money, my lawyer will be in touch. In the end, I ended up blocking Emma completely so that she would never be able to annoy me ever again. Emma soon realized this and from then on was never able to get in touch with me again, as I didn't have any other form of communication besides my number. The wedding between her and her man ended up falling apart, and having no chance of going back to live with him anymore, she went back to see her dad at the house. But when she made it home, her dad was nowhere to be found, besides some of his clothing left scattered on the floor in the empty house he was never going to be able to pay for. It's still not known what's ended up happening to her father, but there have been many people saying things about men that have looked like him jumping off of bridges late at night. And other reports saying that they've seen him on the street looking very thin due to malnutrition. To me, however, I unfortunately think a man like him was able to find another woman who would bite, and he's taking advantage of them at the moment while completely lying to them about his past. When we come back to Emma, a few days after going back to that house, she received a call from my lawyer asking her about the $30,000 she owed me, and said that her only option of paying it off would be to take out another loan and use that to pay me back. That's not the ideal option when it comes to paying off the debt she had with me, but there was nothing else she could do, so let's hope she starts paying off the next loan she ends up with. I'm sure things are going to be very, very difficult for Emma from here on out. But this is the life she decided for herself when she chose to take after her father. I like to think this is what she deserves, and I hope she realizes that herself here soon. As for myself, I eventually did end up getting my money from Emma through another loan she had to take out and was free from her completely after that. I'm currently living in a small ranch house by myself, but now that I have some more money, I might take after Emma a little here and call this money my play money. I can't believe that my Owen is going to be getting married to someone like you. Good evening, Carla. I know that I'm going to be new to the family, but I hope that I can get along with all of you. I don't see there being any way you'll get along with the rest of us here. I'm thinking that your marriage to my son is going to end up worse than how you think it started. And I would like for you to not even think of me as your mother-in-law when you come around me. Because I sure don't think of you as my daughter-in-law. What? What are you talking about? I'm saying that I do not like the fact that you're marrying my son. I decided that I don't like your marriage today, as a matter of fact. You did? I can understand you being a little uneasy about it, but the wedding is going to be next weekend. Why are you only telling me now that you're against me being married to Owen? I have no reason to be letting my son, of all people, become married to some poor woman like you. What? Did you just call me a poor woman? Like someone that doesn't have a whole lot of money kind of poor? I'm sure you only want to be married to him for his money, right? I've told Owen already to give you up. But that boy isn't bothering to listen to me about any of it. Even still, I'm not going to let the two of you be married for long. It's not too late yet, so I want you to give up on your marriage to him. How does that sound? I'm not going to give up on being Owen's wife. I'm not sure where you're coming from calling me poor. Since when did I ever seem like the kind of person that doesn't have a whole lot of money? If you're worried about something like that, then please relax and know that you don't have to be worried. And you think there's a good enough reason for me to calm down right now? I cannot allow you to continue asking my son for his money. You think I'm asking him for money? Where are you hearing about all of this from? I'm sure you already know the answer to all of that. I think before your wedding with Owen, you should take the time to sit back and think things through again. Because I am most definitely not going to allow you to have that wedding. Goodbye now. I have no idea what you're going on about right now. I'm going to have a word with Owen about all of this. I just had a small conversation with your mom, and she has this idea that for some reason I'm not well off. Did something happen with her to make her think that about me? She was also talking about how I've been borrowing money from you. I'm really not sure where she heard about that from.
I see. My mom is always the type that lets her imagination run wild and really get to her. I think she's just a little confused is all. Perhaps having her one and only son leaving the house after becoming married is really starting to get to her. And because of that, she started to overthink things too much, and that's led to her believing things that aren't true.
So that's what all of this is about? Well, that makes a lot of sense now. I understand how it must feel to have only one child. I'm the same way to my parents, as they stopped after only having me.
But your house happens to be completely different from the house I've been raised in. I'm actually so very happy to have become so close to you and your family, and I'm excited to see them again at the wedding!
What do you mean my family is different from yours? I'm not really sure why you're happy, but I'm glad you're happy being around my parents. So this means we can go on with having the wedding next weekend and won't have to make any changes to it? I wonder if your mom is doing okay. Do you think I should say anything to her about it?
No, you can just leave her be. Let me take care of her and her wild imagination. I'm already used to her and all this crap she has going on, so I can manage it somehow.
I see. Then please and thank you. I would really like for everyone to get along with one another by the time of the wedding, as it would make everything a lot more fun for us. Have you come around to realizing what I've been saying this whole time? I'm happy I waited to come here around the same time you did in order to get you like that. You're never to come around my son and I again, you moneyless whore. Do you understand me? Did you really just go through with punching me in the gut over your thoughts of me not having any money? What the hell is going on inside that head of yours? I never thought that you'd become so bad that you'd resort to violence with me. This is the first time in my life that I've ever had to meet someone as off-putting as you. I'm not going to let you get away with something like that. Go ahead and say whatever you'd like about me. I just want to make sure that this wedding is canceled before it gets started. I'm sure it's not going to be happening now, though, right? You actually thought I'd let my son marry a poor woman like you? I am really shocked by this, Carla. To think that you'd get so upset like that without ever actually coming around to understanding the person I am and what my position is. You're the one who appears to not understand a thing about us. Well, if me having punched you in the gut of yours has taught you anything, it should be about the kind of person you really are to us. So give up. Never come around my son again. I am never going to let a parasite that wants to feed off my son's money have any of it. And I am not going to allow this wedding to go on anymore as his mother. Cancel all of this right now. Is that really what you want me to do? Of course it is. And you're going to cancel it whether you agree with me or not. I'll find a way to get this whole event canceled. Well, you don't have to do that, as I fully understand what you want now. I'll handle the wedding and have it canceled for all of us. So please, just stay away from me as I go and do my thing. I'll be making sure all those that are already here know to go home, and then we won't have to disappoint any more of our guests today. And as for Owen, I'm no longer going to be bothering with him. I don't want to see you ever again, Carla, so this wedding is off. Are you happy with all that? If you can do all that for me, then I'll forgive you for ever laying your filthy hands on my boy. Tell him he's no longer your husband and cancel all of this. And never appear in front of our faces ever again. Understood. I am completely fine with all that. And just to make sure he never talks to you again, I'm going to have him block you on his phone. Actually, better yet, could you be so kind as to block him on your phone as well? I don't want you to even talk with him anymore, because the next time you do, I'm not going to be as calm as I've been today. Understood. I will do everything and all that you ask me to do. But can you promise me one thing before I go? What is it? Never come around me again yourself, you awful criminal! What did you just call me? Now I'll be going. Have a good one, Carla. Hey, why aren't you answering your phone right now? You have been getting calls from both me and my son all day long. Hurry up and answer one of us right now. I have no reason to be talking to you both anymore. You told me to block Owen's number on my phone, right? So I did just that and haven't noticed any calls coming from him. This is what you wanted me to do, right? This is not about any of that. This is about me making a huge mistake. Is that right? Did you finally go and listen to what your son has been saying to you? That's probably why you're freaking out right now and have been trying to get in touch with me again. You learned about who I really am. Owen has always known about who I am, but you never seemed to care like he did. He and I have been doing our best to hide the real me in order to protect myself and the wedding. But recently, things with you have been really out of control, haven't they? Well, you were finally told by Owen who I really am, and that happens to be the daughter of a very wealthy CEO. So, he really wasn't lying to me. Why did you guys choose to never tell me the truth? Had one of you just told me sooner, then I would have never started calling you some moneyless whore like before. The reason I didn't tell you is in order to keep those that try and come after my family's money away. Keep them away? But if you had told me about your true position sooner, things like yesterday would have never happened between us. What do you mean by things like yesterday? You're telling me that if you knew I was the daughter of a CEO, you would have never punched me in the stomach? Oh, that's right! Is that so? So then what you're telling me is that in your mind, it's okay to go around punching the poor? Gotcha. You are one hell of a monster, Carla. You don't have to sit there calling me a monster. It's rude. Well, now that I've had time to talk with both you and Owen, there's no longer a misunderstanding between all of us. Do you think you guys can have your wedding next weekend? Excuse me? What the hell are you going on about now? Well, yesterday we had that wedding of yours canceled without any thought. But now that I've had a chance to learn about the real you, I think you and Owen can have that wedding next week. How does that sound to you? What are you talking about? Owen and I are not together anymore. I did everything you asked me to, and I blocked Owen for good. Well, that's not a problem, though. You can unblock him now and get back to being a couple. I would really like to think of you as my own daughter now, so please start talking to him again. What? Your behavior has done a 180, and now you want me back together with Owen again? What do you want out of all this? Let me tell you something, Carla. Your son was the one who wanted to be married to me for my money. Owen wanted you for your money? I had made sure to hide a lot of things from everyone about my family. But he went ahead and took a delve into my family himself. And after seeing that my family happens to have a lot of money, he went wild and started spending all the money he had on things he never really needed, thinking I'd be there to bring in the money after the wedding. After he learned that I'm the daughter of a CEO, he wanted the two of us getting married as soon as possible. Well, I found out about all that not too long ago, and I am pissed. Well, your wedding being canceled and all that has really pissed Owen off as well. He's so upset with everything right now that I can't manage to calm him down any. He even came after me, his own mother, and hit me, causing me to feel some real pain. So please, Stacy, you're the only one who can stop my son from going on this rampage after losing his wedding. Please don't tell me that you don't want to be married to him anymore. Geez, you both are complete idiots. What? I have nothing to do with any of that now, and you were the one that wanted the wedding canceled in the first place, right? I was just being kind and obeyed your commands yesterday. You should be thankful that I listened to you and everything went to plan. But this is not at all what I had planned on. I was confused at the time and didn't know a thing about the real you, Stacy. And at the time, I had really wanted to be married to him as well, but things started to feel off about things with him. And before I knew it, I could tell that he wasn't with me out of the love he had for me, but something else. But after having you go on and on about how I was the one wanting to marry him for his money and later punching me in the gut over it, I realized what was really going on. I'm going now. Wait a second, Stacy. I made a big mistake. I made a terrible mistake and started to just assume you had no money. And because of that terrible mistake, you assaulted me. Perhaps the apple really doesn't fall that far from the tree then. I assumed that all that money that my son was having to pay was because of you and not him. I'm his mother, and I never wanted to believe that it was my own son who was going out and recklessly spending his money. But I know the truth now very well. He's been the one spending all the money. And he was hiding all that from me as well. Luckily, though, one of my dad's employees found out about his debt. I am so sorry for asking you to cancel your wedding like that yesterday night. But now that we're all open about things and know the truth, let's have that wedding for real this time. You said that you're the daughter of a CEO who's very well off, so having a second wedding should be a piece of cake, right? Do you think you can hurry all this up and put together another wedding for you and Owen? What kind of games are you trying to play with me today? What? How many times am I going to have to say this in order for you to understand me? Things between Owen and I are over. Things are over? What the hell do you mean, though? I'd like to ask you a lot about that as well. What the hell do you mean with all of that crap? Owen and I are finished. It's over. He and I are no longer a thing anymore. The wedding was canceled yesterday, and he and I are no longer going to be married. No way. Oh, were you and him not going to get married to one another over the feelings you both had? We had planned on being married based off our love for each other, but those feelings I had for him are long gone now. All because of you, Carla. That wedding was supposed to be a huge deal for my family, and my dad was putting in $100,000 to make sure it was perfect for Owen and I. What? But because you wanted it canceled so badly that you would punch me, it went bye-bye. Isn't that wonderful? Wait, $100,000 for that wedding? What the hell? Do weddings like that really cost that kind of ridiculous amount of money? Well, they do when you're the one and only daughter of a very successful CEO. He thought that was the perfect amount to spend on my wedding. But my dad was against me getting married to Owen for a long time before the wedding came about, so I'm a bit surprised myself that he was willing to spend that much. At first, he would always get on about me finding myself a better man, but no matter how much he tried to turn me away from Owen, I wanted to be married to him. Owen was the man for me, and I wanted to be his wife. But in the end, we learned a lot about you and him, and things changed. I really should have listened to my dad a bit more and gave up on Owen. But it's all in the past now. I think quite the opposite, actually. I think that Owen would be the perfect man for you. I think you being married to him would be the best thing for everyone. Well, whether you want me to be with him now or not, you were the one that ruined the chances of me ever being his wife. I'm glad that things ended up this way for everyone. So, you're being serious about not marrying my son then? And you're saying it's all because of me? You might think of it as being your fault, but I'm thankful for what you did. I've been trying to apologize to you for all that, though, about what happened yesterday. I'm so sorry. I'm asking you to please marry my son for me now. If you don't take him as your husband, who knows what he's going to do to me? Well, I couldn't care less what he has in store for you. And hearing that he's being violent towards you really makes it so that I don't want to be around you both. What a joke of a man he is, being violent with his own mother like that. One other thing. Since you were the one that wanted the wedding canceled, and it was, in the end, for your sake, there is going to be a fee. Canceling a wedding doesn't come free of charge, so someone's going to have to pay up. What? There's a cancellation fee? And all of that, you're going to have to pay for. And there will also be the money I get from you for assaulting me yesterday as well. Wait a second. How much more are you going to make me suffer for all of yesterday? Well, I'm not doing all of this in order to make you suffer or anything. I just want you to have to think about everything you've done to me yesterday on my wedding day. Do you think what I've been telling you has all been wrong or something? Am I not allowed to fight back at you after you punched me in the gut? You're not wrong about anything, but don't you think you're going a bit too far with all of it? I'm just acting in a way I find perfectly fine after what's happened to me. And since you did assault me, the police are going to have to get involved in handling that. I hope you're ready for when they come looking for you. Stacy, calm down, please. I'm so very sorry about all of that. Just calm down now and think all of this through again. I'm very calm right now. And this is all the outcome of me thinking about it with a level head. Perhaps you should have been thinking a bit more yourself before you acted out. And so, with all of that, I'd like for you to have your son back, you moneyless idiot. In the end, the relationship between Owen and I really did come to an end. And in his anger because of it, Owen went ahead and forced his mom to have to pay for all the things he bought. A little while after that, I was introduced to a very outgoing man who my dad set me up with to make sure he wouldn't be into me for my money. We are planning to get married really soon and move into a house that we'll be buying with our savings instead of relying on all my dad's money for it. Unlike the life I'll be living now in happiness, Carla has been left with a lot of money that she now owes to many different people. And it seems the only hope she has for herself now is to find a job and start working for the rest of her life. I think she really should have thought her actions through a bit more before acting on them, but it's too late for anything like that now. I just hope that with this new road she's going to be on, there is no more physical fighting between her and her son.